Hello. Thank you for joining Fashion Snoops webinar for Curve Connect, Buyer's Trend Guide for Fall/Winter 21-22. My name is Sarah Havranik, and I'm the Marketing Manager at Fashion Snoops. For those of you who are not familiar, Fashion Snoops is a global creative agency with 20 years of successful trend forecasting experience. Through a combination of artificial and human intelligence, we track cultural shifts and their impact on consumer behavior and product direction, and we empower our clients to act on trend-driven opportunities. We service brands, retailers, and manufacturers, fashion, accessories, home decor, beauty, media, marketing, and other consumer-facing industries. And now I would like to introduce Patricia Maeda, Head of Fashion Snoops Intimates Department. She will be walking you through today's presentation.
Thanks, Sarah. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Patricia Maeda, Women's Wear Editor and Market Lead for Intimates, Sleepwear, and Loungewear at Fashion Snoops. Today, I'll be walking you through three major cultural sentiments that we forecasted for Fall/Winter 21-22 and how they're influencing the intimates market. Once you understand what's driving consumer behavior, you'll be able to do your buying with a lot more confidence. And even though I'm just sharing three sentiments here, we have much more on our site. So if you're interested, please watch this webinar until the end because we have prepared a special promotion in partnership with Curve Connect. So we start with wonder, a cultural shift that speaks to humanity's greatest gift, which is not only its ability to reason, but its innate impulse to imagine and to wonder. As we come to understand the importance of allowing our minds to wonder, we no longer look down upon daydreams, fantasies, mysticism, and hallucinations. Instead, we see them as the lifeblood of innovation. In this sentiment, we're looking into escaping to a dreamy dimension where digital opulence is mixed with modern surreality. We see design taking inspiration from the biosphere that surrounds us. So we're really looking at the fantastical and mystical side of nature. Wonder offers a new portal into creativity and brings a fresh, new, and fantastical perspective for the season ahead. So now we get into our seasonal narrative for intimate sleep and loungewear markets that we're calling Recompose. And I think this is very timely because when we were conceptualizing this narrative, we were thinking about times when the world feels overwhelming, we turn to nature to heal. And I think we're going to be seeing this for quite some time. Recompose invites us to get lost in the woods and reconnect with our Mother Earth. We begin to mimic wild surfaces with unusual embroideries, nature-inspired prints, and intricate lace patterns that take on organic forms. I think the idea of escapism is really important here, seen in these whimsical bright hues and surreal imagery. So now moving into materials, as I mentioned, we're inspired by natural elements. So we're seeing a lot of nature-inspired embroideries that can be done in both mesh and tulle. There's also a growing interest in shiny surfaces. So we have this high shine satin that provides a beautiful base for sleepwear, as well as lurex blended lace. And for loungewear, of course, coziness is still very important. And in this theme, we're bringing this mild and textural knit. For pattern and graphics, we see that nature really comes alive here, from this opulent, overgrown nature direction to enchanted florals. We also see the trend for dye effects taking place here in captivating dyes as well as textured inks. And this is also a good place to apply your animal prints like the abstract snake and butterfly swirls. Now moving into key items, and we start with intimates. As you can see, underwire is essential for almost every silhouette because for this theme, we really need structure and support. So we start with the balconette bra that features a beautiful and colorful embroidery on tulle. You can also consider it as a set, so providing matching bottoms as well as a garter belt. The bodysuit here has a corsetry-inspired design, again with floral embroidery application, and we see that floral embroidery being carried over into shapes like the demi-cup in a more delicate variation. And finally, we have a long line bra, which is also really interesting with these fantastical snake-inspired designs that speak to the idea of wonder. For sleepwear, we have the printed pajama set. As we have been seeing throughout the pandemic, pajamas have become the official everyday wear, so it's important to add a luxury feel, whether it is a silk material or a statement print. Next, we have a silk slip in this beautiful jewel tone with nature's inspired print. The camisole is also elevated with macrame trim, creating this very interesting textural effect, and a silk robe with kimono sleeves and print application. And now for loungewear, there's a coordinated look set with pullover sweater and silk pants. Next, we have a really cool update for a sweater with the off-the-shoulder style and turtleneck. And two great fashion items here are the lace top with zebra patterned lace with metallic accents, and the plissé pants with a flare cut and pointed hems. So here are some key takeaways from Recompose that you should keep an eye on while you do your buying at Curve Connect. And we start with animal prints. We're seeing a lot of brands doing this very subtle take on animal prints, which I think is really interesting. Of course, floral prints are important. So we're seeing, for example, this lounge pants from May with abstract floral application. Jewel tones is really important. I think bringing that brightness really speaks to the mystical side of nature. Floral embroidery in lingerie sets, as well as considering a full set with garter belts. And finally, we have shimmer. So it really sets the tone for holiday season. So consider things like lurex blends or metallic threads. Now we move on to our second cultural sentiment, goodness. So of course, we're coming out from a very difficult time, not just because of the pandemic, but also the chaos in society with political and group divides. But yet we feel this optimistic belief in the goodness at the core of mankind that really bolsters hope for the future. We're seeing a wave of wholesome content online, and we're interested in uncomplicated experiences of joy like baking and painting. In goodness, we focus on what it means to be human and find satisfaction in small things. In terms of design, we return to a more innocent, almost childlike whimsy. as consumers are craving honest simplicity and wholesome satisfaction. We're seeing these unexpected color combinations that really bring out humor, as well as mismatched patterns that embody cheerful comfort and really indulges in childlike instincts with a mature sophistication. Our seasonal narrative for goodness is called Dwell. And Dwell is the kind of place that makes you feel like home. There's, of course, a sense of nostalgia that emerges with a retro tinted palette, geometric prints, and tactile materials. We're drawn to the ordinary comforts of home, and we're reminded to hold on to optimism. Dwell is simplistic in nature, but also a necessary reminder to slow down and reflect on the true values to guide us forward. Fabrics for this story reflect that nostalgic feel with geometric lace and print stretch satin. Texture is also a really important component here that offers the comfort element with cotton terry and quilted surfaces. For pattern and graphics, we're looking into classic patterns like checks and stripes that give us a sense of familiarity, but they always come with a little retro twist. So consider things like bright color application or blocked variations. Quirky repeats feature a childlike whimsy, so consider retro geometrics as well as polka dots and floral repeats. Now for some key items, overall lingerie has a retro feel with vintage inspired silhouettes. As you can see on the first two items, the plunge neckline is very important, with one features geometric embroidery and the other one features stretch lace trim. When it comes to bottoms, we're looking into more coverage, so hipsters or high-waisted briefs. We also see this really cool new take on color block with tulle and lace in contrasting colors. And finally, we have a full coverage bra with soft cups. So pajamas overall feel polished for lounging around the house. So consider details such as a waist belt and patch pockets. We also have a sleep set with a robe and high-waisted pants. There's also an opportunity to introduce some accessories like the eye mask, as well as the comfort robe with retro contrasting piping. For loungewear, we're seeing plush robe with jacquard fleece, as well as the tracksuit. The tracksuit was a very popular item during the pandemic and will continue in more elevated silhouettes. So this one features a zip-up blouse with matching track pants. The knit set is a great item for loungewear in ribbed knit with a nostalgic polo shirt. And a great update for sweatshirts is the padded shoulder in statement color. So some key takeaways that you should consider while doing your shopping at Curve Connect. Whimsical motifs, again, it can be either an embroidery or a print. We're also looking into updated primaries, so the colors that feel optimistic and they can act as a mood booster. Retro sets, another important call out, so bras with more coverage as well as high-waisted bottoms. And geometric embroidery, I think, is a great update to the traditional floral embroidery as well as floral lace. And now we move on to our last sentiment, edge. And here we really explore new possibilities and push the boundaries into the unknown. It's really about that innate drive to seek out our best selves by living life on the edge. In terms of design, this means innovation in terms of materials as well as performance. There's an element of sportswear that comes through as we seek out adventures, but also there's a new wave of restoring materials that help us rest and unwind.
My feet are falling from the ground. Have my head up in the clouds so long. Down into the depths with fading light. Can't hold my breath for another. Can't hold my breath. This could be a dream. Or a distant memory. This could be a dream. And now I know my feet are falling from the ground. I might end up in the clouds so long. Down into the depths with fading light. Can't hold my breath for another. Can't hold my breath.
The seasonal narrative for Edge is called Asylum. And here we acknowledge that there will always be climate and societal factors which are beyond our control. So we're driven to carve out our own sense of security. Through Asylum, we seek refuge to maintain our inherent need for comfort. We leverage functional restorative fibers and performance materials in cozy loungewear, essential base layers, and sheer lingerie. This comforting post-apocalyptic vision brings a renewed sense of protection that guides us to a dawn of a new era. In terms of materials, I think the need for protection will be even more relevant in a post-COVID-19 world than ever before. So we're definitely looking into antibacterial finishes. I think it's also important that materials are carefully selected for their properties, from shaping compression to restorative benefits. In terms of patterning graphics, I think some of the key prints for this story includes these abstract organic motifs like natural grains and speckles. This is a really good theme to introduce graphic prints that speak to an urban consumer. So serial numbers and barcodes are really interesting. And dye effects here feature a more futuristic perspective. Some key items for intimates: definitely take inspiration from shapewear. So always consider what can you provide, what are the additional benefits that it can provide. They all feature sheer materials. So the first one has bonded microfiber finish. We're also looking into high waist. So this one features a high cut leg. The bodysuit for this story features an spacer cup with recycled power mesh. And sculpting bras are almost a step above the sports bra with shaping properties and seamless construction. And after a long time of self-isolation at home, consumers are really accustomed to comfort. So definitely keep that in mind as we move forward. We have the cropped tee here with a boxy fit and drawstring detail. The jumpsuit is a great all-in-one piece that offers offers comfort in this soft cotton or ribbed knit material. The jogger takes us back to the athleisure trend. Again, it has this really cool Supima cotton material. And finally, the bodysuit with ribbed stitching and snap button closure. Loungewear borrows elements of sportswear as well. So we have a hoodie in a cropped variation with drawstring detail. The volume sweater features dropped shoulders with wide ribbed waist. Thermal leggings are super important for fall winter. This one features cover stitch details. And finally, we have a knit set in soft merino wool with volume sleeves and turtleneck. Some key takeaways for our buyers at Curve Connect. So consider the idea of shaping. So not only shapewear, but also everyday items that can provide shaping benefits. Another great opportunity here is to introduce loungewear to your fall winter assortments. The sportswear influence is something really strong for this theme, with the athletic elastic bands as well as ties and drawstrings. Sheer materials also really important, so always consider mesh or tulle. And finally, we have graphic trims that creates newness for fall winter assortments. So that is all from me. I hope this webinar was able to guide you on the trends to shop at Curve Connect. Now I'll pass it over to Sarah, our marketing manager, for some final announcements.
Thank you, Patricia. What you saw today was just a glimpse of all that we have to offer on the FS Trend platform. If you would like to learn more, or if you would like to hear about our advisory services, please email us at sales@fashionsnoops.com for a one-on-one consultation, or visit www.fashionsnoops.com. Thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you to Curve Connect.